Hello, everyone. This is another Black Conservative. I am Ryan Boland. Thank you all for joining me. I hope you guys have had a wonderful 4th of July. I know I did. I just chilled and sat back. I know I did the video, but you know what I mean? I just chilled and sat back, enjoyed the weather, enjoyed doing some writing, enjoyed doing some reading. For me, that's my time off. You know, I just chill out. I don't have to celebrate it. I don't have to buy any ribs or anything like that. I'm cool just chilling out, watching TV, writing and reading and doing videos. I'm cool on that. But anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed your holiday, and I hope you're going to start the week off with some positive notes. But I want to talk about something here that I discovered in my reading. I was reading a book from a filmmaker and commentator, conservative commentator by the name of Dinesh D Souza. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. Most of you guys more than likely know him. He's an Indian filmmaker and conservative commentator, very prolific, very intelligent man. And he wrote a book in 2018 called Death of a Nation. And it was essentially talking about the way the Democratic Party was formed. And in one particular chapter, he talks about a concept known as learned helplessness. And essentially, he stated within that particular chapter that there was a group of psychologists that basically gave this title learned helplessness, or created this title learned helplessness on a research project they were conducting on a group of dogs. Actually, they would exhibit electrical shocks to these dogs, not nothing major. And these dogs would come under this electrical shock, and it would be so much, and it would happen so often that the dogs learned how to not even try to escape. Even though there was a way of escape for these dogs, they never tried to escape from the electrical shock that they were suffering. So these dogs essentially learned how to just be helpless. They had received in their own mind, so to speak, hey, there's no escape from this. Even though there was visible escape, the dogs had become accustomed to this shock system. So even though there was a way out, they never tried to get out. And this psychologist attributed this same mentality to people who are in the ghetto, whether it's in the African-American community or in communities in England or other communities, but particularly in the African-American community here in America. That's what I want to talk about here just for a few minutes here about what I was raised in. You know, I was born and raised in the inner city ghetto. So that's what I'm going to talk about. I'm talking about the stuff that I deal with here on a day-to-day basis, the area that I was raised in, and the people that I was accustomed to seeing. And I used to always ask the question, and I've asked this question quite some time until my mind was refreshed on this idea of learned helplessness, is why do inner city blacks within the ghetto, not all of them, but most of them, let's be realistic, have this mindset of dependency on the government, have this mindset of low educational expectations, have this mindset of, if I fail, I'm going to keep failing. So what's the point in trying to get out of this situation? Why do they have that mentality? And when I read this particular chapter in this particular book by these group of particular psychologists, it made sense to me. What I believe, as well as these psychologists believe, is that a lot of these people in the ghetto have developed a learned helplessness. They have learned in their own mind, or have basically, maybe I shouldn't say learned. I'm only saying learned because the psychologists say learned, but maybe I should use another term. They have develop this mentality where they say to themselves on a subconscious level that, I'm used to the way I am. This is who I am. This is what I do. Even though they see that there's a way out, their mind has subjugated itself to that low mentality. So they become so accustomed to it that they accept it even though there's a way out. They see the patterns that is negative and is destructive, but their mind has accepted it as normal. Even though they know consciously that it's destructive, they have just settled in their mind, well, I'm helpless anyway. It is what it is. I'm never going to get out. I'm never going to change, which is a total contradiction, which is a total lie. But once again, I'm going to use the phrase learned helplessness. Okay. I'm going to bring that phrase back, learned helplessness. Okay. They've learned how to be helpless. They have learned how to be helpless. If they have a disappointment, if they go to school and they get a low score on a test, or something doesn't work out, they try to better themselves and something doesn't work out, they automatically give up in their mind. And to some extent, that just doesn't apply to the ghetto. It applies to people in general. Sometimes people who have a mindset to want to give up on a consistent basis, whenever they try to do something to better themselves and they face a disappointment or a setback, they say, what's the point in going further? They've developed a learned helplessness mentality. They've learned how to be helpless, and they just accept it as, hey, this is reality. This is how it is. This is how I'm going to be. Okay. Now, what's crazy about this is that the Democratic politicians play on this learned helplessness ideology. They know black people in the ghetto think this way. They know black people in the ghetto have this mentality. So they play on this. And from a political perspective, I get it. You're trying to win votes. Why wouldn't you play on it? Well, you would play on it because you don't have any integrity. And that's how these Democrats are. They don't have any integrity. So they'll play on your weakness. But from a political point of view, I can understand why they would play on that. Okay? Because the Democrats know that blacks, particularly a group of blacks in the ghetto, in the hood, if you will, have learned how to be helpless, and they play on that weakness, and they spin the same narrative every 4 years. You know, you're never going to come out. You know, it's systemic racism is everywhere. You know, the white man is out for you to get you, which is weird because a vast majority of the Democratic politicians that tell these people, black people this in the ghetto, are white. Which is interesting because here's a white person telling you about white systemic racism. And I'm thinking, okay, well, if white people are the ones behind it all and are racist against these blacks and are keeping them down and keeping them from being successful, then why would I want to listen to another white person? It makes no sense to me. The same people that's telling you there's systemic racism everywhere and micro racism and macro, whatever they want to call it, and all this other foolishness, most of these people that are saying this are white. And this is what happens when you've developed a learned helplessness mentality. When you develop a learned helplessness mentality, the very person that you claim is your enemy, okay, the very person that you claim is your enemy can come around and spin to you the idea that white people are the ones keeping you down. Here's a white person who you think is your enemy telling you that your enemy is white people. And you believe the white person is telling you, you get what I'm saying? Learned helplessness. But because you've learned how to be helpless, you just settle for whatever they tell you. You just settle for it. So a lot of these black people in the ghetto have settled for this mentality, even though there is a way out. There's a way out. They see the way out. They know the way out. But they've learned how to be helpless. So what's the answer to that? I don't know, man. I don't know what the answer is. You know, I mean, I really don't know what the answer is. As one person said in one of the books I was reading, is that, well, actually, Dinesh D Souza said is Dinesh D Souza. I don't know if it's Dinesh D Souza, but I don't want to butcher this man's name. But he said the system is somewhat rigged because people that feel this way, you know, politicians and academia and so forth, that spin this victim mentality, okay, they need to spin that victim mentality in order to stay relevant. They get paid based off of spinning this victim mentality. If there's no victims, if there's no learned help, people who have adapted the concept of learned helplessness, if there's none of those people around and everybody is hard workers and go-getters and they're all about upward mobility and all that, then these people that spin this narrative will be null and void. They won't have a job. They won't have nothing to believe in. So he was saying basically the system is rigged, and in a sense it is, because all of these helplessness programs and outreach programs that you see in the government, outreaches, is always presided over by somebody trying to tell you that you need this and you need that and this will help you and this will help you. I see it all the time in downtown Cleveland. People with the clipboards, they get paid for that. They're made to feel important and made to feel to think that they're doing something special when a lot of times they're not. In the meantime, they get paid. But the people that's over it is spreading this idea that if we don't fix this situation, you're going to be a victim for the rest of your life. Learned helplessness. Learned helplessness, you know. Yeah, it's in the hood. Learned helplessness in the hood. Learned helplessness makes you feel that you got to get even with the person that's, you know, running off in the mouth. Best way to get even with them, shoot them, kill them, right? You know, incident that happened some time ago, what was it, a few days ago on my job. I did a video on it, 2-minute video on it, yes. I don't know the status of that person at this point in time, but suffices to say, word that I got from a particular employee in Tower City told me he knew all about it, knew the person that got shot, knew the person that did the shooting, and I'm not saying no names, you know I ain't gonna do that, okay. But told me, I asked him, I says, well, what was the reasoning for it? And he says, well, you just running off the mouth, man, trying to be hard, trying to be gangster. Run out the mouth, trying to be hard, trying to be gangster. So the person, instead of the person with the gun, instead of just saying, you know what, and walking away, learned helplessness, I'm going to cap the person. I'm going to smoke the person. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to annihilate the person. I'm going to end the person. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to whack the person. That's their answer. Learned helplessness. You know, this is the mentality that a lot of them have developed, and they think that there's no way out. There is a way out. It's all around them. But they think that there's no way out. What's the answer to that? I don't know, except to say, keep presenting it before them. And if they don't want to adhere to it, nothing you can do about it. Nothing you can do about it. Give them the opportunities. The opportunities are there, but there's nothing you can do about it. And to end the video on this front, as Mrs. Ducella said, a lot of this stuff may just be rigged. These individuals that's pushing this kind of agenda, they need it because they get paid to do it. Now, somebody can argue, well, you conservatives get paid to do what y'all do. Well, I don't get paid to do any of this. I don't get paid. I don't have 1,000 subscribers. I don't have 4,000 hours of watch time. I got some ways to go, so I don't get paid. And I did over 600 videos. I don't get no pay. And some of my videos may shoot and become viral, and some of them don't. I get a few dozen viewers. I'm hoping to get better at this, but, you know, the point is I don't get paid for it. So the question is, why am I doing it? I do it because some of the stuff is entertainment, is under entertainment logo, but at the same time, I do it because I love to do it. I love to inform people. I love to give people information. And I also do it because I know that my videos add value to a lot of the people that watch my videos. They said it quite often. Just as many people that don't like what I say, there are a lot of people that like what I say, and they benefit from it. So that's what motivates me to do it. What motivates me to do what I do, though I don't get paid for it, is the fact that what I say adds value to some people's lives when they watch my videos. So this one conservative, I ain't getting paid at this point in time right now. Okay, so you can't say I'm doing it because I'm getting paid and I need this to get. No, I don't need anything. I do it because I believe I'm informing somebody. Okay. But that's what I wanted to say about that. That's all I wanted to say about that. What do you guys think? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel. God bless you all and see you again.